Right, give it a few minutes here. See if it jumps on. If not, I will jump. But yeah, so had the Denny Hamlin versus Kyle Larson there at the end. To which I don't want to hear any more of Denny Hamlin's mouth because he didn't leave any room coming off the wall. So whether or not Larson got into the wall or not, he wasn't going to have any room. Period. So I don't want to hear any more from Denny Hamlin about people driving with respect or driving clean. Ironically, he is the main person who threw the villain role onto Ross Chastain. So ironically, he wrecked somebody to win this race, which I don't have a problem with the move. I have a problem with the hypocrisy of him complaining about it when it gets done to him. But wrecked somebody to win, the main guy who was complaining about how Ross Chastain wrecked him. And then, of course, later on, obviously, Ross Chastain throws the punch at Noah Gragson after being grabbed first by Noah Gragson. So it's one of those situations. I like that Noah Gragson stuck up for himself. I like that Ross Chastain didn't back it down and threw the punch. So I like Noah Gragson more, and I like Ross Chastain more now. Now, what they were arguing and fighting over wasn't necessarily the race today. It goes back to last week. If you watch the live stream this time last Monday night or whatever, you'll remember, or whatever, whenever I did the other live stream, it might have been the Tuesday live stream. But either way, they had allegedly some team members from Legacy, the altercation at the airport with Ross Chastain. So this goes back all the way to last week. And then, of course, Noah stuck up for himself. Sort of got stuck by himself, actually. But yeah, it sort of is what it is. I had no problem with either driver's reactions, but I knew that one was coming. If you listened to the last live stream, I guess on Tuesday. So we'll jump into the comments. I'm sure you pretty much want to talk about just that. But other than that, it was actually a pretty good race. Toyota looked good, and then Chevrolet looked good, and then Toyota did what Toyota had to do to get the win. They had the faster car. I don't have a problem with what he did. I just have the problem with he always cries when it gets done to him. But that's all good. I still like both of those drivers too. I like Hamlin. I like obviously I like Larson. Too bad for Kyle Larson. Says Philip Canavan. Yep, you win some, you lose some, you wreck some, and he wrecked some today. But at least he still got the second place finish. It's getting old for the 5 car having pretty good race winning type speed, and then to get wrecked on those occasions when he does have it. But he does have a win this year, so I'm not going to sit here and cry about it. Will Denny Hamlin get any kickback from NASCAR on this, says William Wagaman, as long as he doesn't admit he did it on purpose, which, by the way, he did admit he did it on purpose. He said, you do what you got to do, which was interesting after previously being fined for something similar. So he said he drafted him. He was trying to side draft him too close and got into him. So he did take blame for it. He did say it was his fault. It's not just me saying, hey, it's Denny's fault because I'm a Larson fan. Denny Hamlin took the blame on himself anyways. So I don't think he'll get any kickback from NASCAR, though, as long as he doesn't blatantly come out and say, yeah, I wrecked him on purpose to win. Hopefully he doesn't say that. Hopefully he learned. Noah walked away over there with hurt feelings. He walked back with hurt feelings and a lesson, says Robert Stone. Yeah, so if you look at the actual incident on this particular race, there was more room there than Noah probably knew of. I mean, sitting in that race car, it's a totally different view. But from looking from the TV, he had more room. Ross Chastain did push up, but he left him some room there. So I don't know if that's necessarily the one you want to throw a bomb over. Like I said, this most likely goes back to last week with Ross Chastain as far as Noah Gragson's concerned. The other interesting thing Noah Gragson said in one of those post-race interviews is that Chase Elliott told him to go down there and hit him. So Chase Elliott out there instigating things. So I don't know how people are going to feel about that. I know Chase Elliott has a ton of fans, so I mean, I know if I if I call that out, I know which way the vast majority of the fans are going to go with that one. You got to say Noah has a chin with a set on him, better than the 34 other weekly whiners that talk about it, but they don't do anything about it, says Stu Putty. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I have so much respect for Noah Gragson, and I have so much respect for Ross Chastain for sticking up for themselves, because in a world of drivers being PC to keep sponsors, these two guys are not afraid to be themselves and just let their emotions fly. So I actually have respect for both of them. I think both of them, I don't have a problem with what either one of them did there, to be totally honest. So, I think both guys, from their respective viewpoints, are in the right. Denny, the hack took one away from Kyle, says Donnie Love. I mean, yeah, like he calls people hacks for doing it to him, but then he does it to other people, and it's like, oh, no big deal, right? So that's the hypocrisy I like to call out with Denny Hamlin. Still like him. He's entertaining. He's good for the sport. Keeps them talking. Lost respect for Ross throwing a punch, then hiding behind two other guys. Let them fight and settle it. Well, I mean, he didn't tell the other guy to jump in there, so I don't know. He didn't start the fight either. Noah Gragson ran up there and grabbed him first. So I understand where you're coming from. You're Noah Gragson guy. That's fine. That's all good. But if somebody grabs me, I'm going to be totally honest with you. If somebody grabs me, I'm throwing a punch too. I do not like to be grabbed. I do not like to be pushed. So it is what it is. Let's see. Hamlin was even less room to talk in the quote. The old junior, that was a slobber knocker. Oh, JR, that was a slobber knocker. Yeah, he definitely ate a punch. Like there's no doubt about Noah Gregson's chin there. That was a punch, bro. So I'll give him credit for that. Let's see. Hamlin has. Oh yeah, I just read that one. Maybe Larson needs to start wrecking people himself. Maybe. More boos than cheers, says Denny. Donnie Love, yeah, for Denny Hamlin, definitely in that post race. Chastain's number is up, says John Ray. I mean, maybe, but there's also this. Like the first guy that tried to call him out on pit road ate a serious punch, and I mean ate a serious punch. So if those drivers that already were too scared to do something in retaliation back, it's kind of like the movie Gran Torino, right? Like Clint Eastwood has the line in that movie. You ever sometimes just come across somebody you shouldn't have effed with? Ross Chastain might be that guy in the garage. They act like they want to F with him, but they at the end of the day, they don't want to F with him. So it is what it is. I can't see the whole legacy camp, says Glenn Strom. I mean, that's just what was reported to me in the parking lot of somewhere. Larson did the same thing to Chase Elliott, says Gentry Debbie. Like I said, I don't have a problem with the move. I have a problem with the hypocrisy of crying about it when it gets done to you, which is what Denny Hamlin does quite often. Robin Marks, howdy y'all from Canuckistan. Ross didn't win. He sure won the fight. I'm a hockey guy. You don't grab the guy by the collar. Ross with the right cross. Don't cross Ross. So there you go. Yeah, that's another thing. You can argue about the technique too. If you're going down there and you wanna do something, don't grab the guy. If you're going in down there with intentions to start a fight, you better start a fight and don't go grabbing and pushing. This race was because it's just going to leave your head wide open because you got your arms extended, and that's just giving the guy a free shot. This race was miles better. And that being said, there shouldn't be any fighting in the garage anyway because it's dangerous. If they fall down and hit their head, that's going to be a serious issue. Anyway, this race was miles better than the Miami GP. Yeah, I didn't even bother watching the Miami GP. Ross said there's no push policy at Trackhouse. Hey, so there you go. They were warned. They were warned. Like I said, I don't have a problem with what Noah did either. It is what it is. Ross Chastain should be shut down from NASCAR for a couple of weeks, says William Wagman. Good luck with that because they didn't do it to Ty Gibbs when he threw punches at Sam Mayer. So NASCAR has boxed themselves in as far as that goes. The cowards that Noah said told him to go do it. Chase Elliott should go do it himself, says Gentry Debbie. That's where I stand on it too. These guys telling Noah Gragson he should go do it. That's an interesting perspective. Noah let that one slip in the heat of the moment. It should be interesting when the whole legacy camp get their Japanese haircuts at Traders, said Glenn Storm. Talking about legacy that wasn't down there to defend him. Yeah, that's interesting too. But once you leave the pit box, it becomes a whole different mess over there. They should have probably just let the drivers have at it. But that being said, I don't like to see any fighting at all, to be honest with you. But I don't have a problem with either driver sticking up for themselves in that situation. I never had a problem with aggressive drivers. Always have a problem with an aggressive driver who throws a fit about someone racing him aggressive. Someone I know like Denny Hamlin, says Robert Stone. Yeah, that's where I stand with it too. I don't have a problem with what Denny Hamlin did. I'm not saying he shouldn't have done it at all. I have a problem with when it gets done to him, he throws a fit about it. Like the ironic part of this, the biggest reason that a lot of people don't like Ross Chastain is the complete temper tantrum meltdown that Denny Hamlin threw about it when Ross Chastain ran into him a few times last season. And ironically, he does the same thing to Kyle Larson this race. So, Just live by your own code, I guess, is what I'm trying to say there. I grew up in Texas. When a man grabs you, that is the same as a punch. Ross did not sucker punch Noah, says Gojo. That's where I'm at with it, too. A lot of people are saying Ross punched him first. I was like, yeah, but who started it? Who got grabbed first? That's sort of my issue with it. And really, what it's showing is just a lot of people just don't like Ross Chastain, so they're going to take anything they can get. So they're going to say Ross threw a punch first. Yeah, but he got grabbed first. It's not like Noah was having a tickling contest with him, right? Noah grabbed him with bad intentions, and Ross even told him, don't do that. And Noah kept on doing that, and Noah found out. Legacy Motorsports is showing to be a team to watch, off the track at least, no doubt about it. Let's see. They've had a poor year this season, though. Only way one can beat Larson is to wreck him because spinning him out didn't work, said Escobar. Yeah, I mean, that's part of it, too. M43 with the super chat. Fist bump, M43. Denny the Hack Hamlin is a hypocrite. So, yeah, I mean, like if you have a code, you need to live by it. So if he wants Ross Chastain to live under a certain code and he's not going to live under it, it makes him look like a total hypocrite. Like all he did last year was complain about Ross Chastain and how he drove, and then he goes and does the exact same type of stuff. So it is what it is, which ironically is why a lot of people had their eyes on Ross Chastain to begin with, and why he has probably half the fans hate him now. Let's see. Noah and Ross are both good, but Noah is a little too cocky for his own good. Watermelon fan, even more, says T Van. So yeah, I think they'll be fine at the end of the day. It could be though. They're both pretty hard nosed, hard headed. So it could be another Bodine Earnhardt situation. I've watched the footage several times now. Ross didn't run Noah high. Noah ran himself into the wall, says Talladega Tom. That's where I'm at with it too, but that's not how Noah saw it, and that's why I'm saying from his perspective. But I agree with you. Room was definitely left. Bumblebee with the super chat. Appreciate it. Glad to see Ross barking and not biting anymore. So there you go. And fist bump for the super chat as well. Yeah, I'm 100% on board with that one. I'm glad he backed it up because now you know if you want to start it with him on the track, if you want to carry it with him into the pits, he is the same guy on and off the track. And like I said, basically from the whatever that Clint Eastwood Gran Torino movie, every once in a while you run across a guy you probably ought not have messed with. Note to self: don't grab bologna burger, says Robert Stone. Don't grab anybody. Like don't fight. Like just don't fight. I think first off, let me be very clear about that. Let me be very clear. However, one of those presidents said it. Noah ain't beating any farmers, says he who. Yes, there's a lot of people like if that bodyguard hadn't gotten in the way, Noah Gragson would have knocked him out. I was like, okay, let me take I'm going to take Ross Chastain in that fight all day of the week because Ross Chastain comes from a farming family. He's done farming in his career. And Noah Gragson comes from a really, really nice neighborhood in Las Vegas. And he is very documented on how he hates working out. So as far as if that fight had gone more than 30 seconds, I'm just cardio-wise going to give it to Ross. So it is what it is. Earnhardt made a living driving like Chastain, says David Nyhoff. I agree with you 100%. 100%. It's really surprising to me that all these Earnhardt fans don't like the way Ross Chastain drives. I find that very interesting. Ross is like Teddy Roosevelt, says Robin Marks. Walk softly and carry a big stick. I agree. Quiet Cat said carrying a big stick. Hey, Newman's back. Look out. Chastain, says John Ray. That's the one I'm waiting for. I've been saying it in the comments, but it's good to see. Good to be here to be able to say it. I want to see the Ross Chastain versus Ryan Newman because both of those guys are guys that don't take no crap. So that's the one I want to see. And Newman's built like a linebacker, so that's No Neck Newman is what they used to call him. Denny still sucks, says Talladega Tom. I know BJ McLeod today, but instead Josh Bilicki, he didn't finish last. Hey, Josh Bilicki swinging in there. Stealing a win and a part-time start on Earth 2. Philip Canavan on top of that one. Stephen Emilio Jr. Not sticking up for anyone, but Larson was against the wall, came off the corner and came down a little. That's when they made contact. Yeah, but even Hamlin, and I'm not getting into it because I'm a Larson fan, and I know people are just going to call me on it. But even in his post-race interview, Hamlin said he was side drafting, and that's why the contact was made. So even if he hadn't hit the wall, Larson didn't have any room to come down naturally, which is where he would have been anyway. There was always going to be contact, and Denny's admitted that. Denny knows what he did. and I'm okay with what Denny did. I'm just not okay with the hypocrisy of what Denny Hamlin does when it happens to him. That's all I'm calling out right there. And I don't have a problem with Denny Hamlin. I'm just calling out that he's a hypocrite. His boss lady, Miss Earnhardt Miller, called him out too. Said she's with the crowd. Boo, Denny, that was too much. So there you go. If you're gonna talk the good talk about driving with respect, you need to drive with respect. Just live by your own code. Let's see. Biting and not barking, says Bumblebee. Yeah, I got you. I got 2 arms full of a kid here. Says Bumblebee. LOL. It's all good. We don't worry about typos over here because I can't even speak proper English. Chastain messed up by saying we have no push rule at Trackhouse. That might get him fined. I mean, maybe they'll probably fine him anyway, just so they can look like they're doing something. But at the end of the day, if he takes it to appeals court and points out that nothing happened to Ty Gibbs for actually making physical contact with Sam Mayer, that will definitely get thrown out because NASCAR has no leg to stand on. They painted themselves in a terrible corner, and I called that out when it happened with Ty Gibbs, that eventually this would bite NASCAR in the ass, and that's what it's going to happen. With this one, there's no way they can find him for punching Noah Gragson. Chastain is not like Dale. He is like Jimmy Spencer. I mean, that's fine. If you don't believe in Chastain's ability, that's fine. But I'm just saying his temperament and driving style is just like Dale Earnhardt's, or whatever driver you want to throw in there. Just everybody knows Dale Earnhardt. William Wagaman, Hamlin, lean into you. You can see it on the replay. He was waiting on the last lap to pull that move. William Wagaman, yeah, and he's in so much said it in his post-race interview. So it's fine. I'm not going to sit here and argue that one because Denny Hamlin said that himself. Escobar said, heard Ross say he and Noah trained together. So that's pretty funny. That'll be interesting. I had to laugh watching that fight. Noah looked like Mo with that haircut. So yeah, of all times to have a bad haircut, this is probably going to be one of those things that gets played over and over again throughout history. And Noah Gragson will forever have that stupid Christian Laettner 1992 haircut in that video replays. And not only that, he's the one eating the punch with the dumb haircut. So if you've watched enough USC, it's usually the guy with the dumb haircut that eats the punch. So let's see. From what I heard on camera, it was a pretty solid hit with the punch. Yeah, it sounded. It was very. You couldn't even hear him talking, but you could hear the audible crack of the punch. So it was definitely a good one. It probably needs to aim it a little bit better next time because if he had aimed it better, it would have been over right there. Kyle Busch, either behind the ear or on the chin. Kyle Busch needs to quit. Maybe I'll break that whole thing down in a video tonight. Speeding on pit road, he would not be back in the Hornet's Nest. Oh, yeah, Kyle Busch, man. He has got to stop speeding on pit road because, once again, it has cost him, and just unfortunate. He was back there in that scrum and got taken out again. He probably had a top 10 car. I don't think he could have competed for the win, but he definitely cost himself there. Unfortunately, got taken out. His spotter took the blame for it, but at the end of the day, he was in a bad spot being mid-pack. Remember Hamlin and Logano at Martinsville last lap 2 years ago? Same stuff, says William Wagaman. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't have a problem with what Denny Hamlin did. I have a problem with Denny Hamlin complaining about it when it gets done to him. Do you think Ross was scared of the bowl cut, says OJ and Toothpaste? I mean, you have to know the guy's a little bit crazy with the haircut. But I don't think Ross is easily afeared, I think. So, yeah, Ross is beating that tail all day, says Bumblebee. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. The Twitter experts feel otherwise, but everybody with common sense that's ever been in a real one knows Noah Gragson, suburban life, probably for a reason, is getting that tail beat all day. Just saying, I like my odds with Florida man farmer Ross Chastain, and I'll break it down further. Ross Chastain, you can tell, has been in a fight or two in his lifetime because when Noah grabbed him, Ross's first instinct was to grab his right hand so that he couldn't get sucker punched by the right hand. So that's how you know Ross Chastain has been in one or more fights in his lifetime. So I thought that was actually a veteran move. He grabbed his right hand and he told Noah Gragson to stop, and Noah Gragson wouldn't let loose of him, and that's when Noah Gragson got cracked in the face. My uncle was a bad dude, a biker, and JL, he told me something when I was 9. If you know a guy wants to fight, don't talk. Hit him first, square in the face. I always throw the first punch, says Robin Marks. So there you go. That's 100%. Not. Look, first off, don't ever fight. Like let's be honest. But it's not bad advice if you get into one. Then he was playing dirty, says Duke Chronic. Yeah, he has a standard for other drivers, but he doesn't live up to it himself. So that's my only issue with him. And I don't have anything against Denny Hamlin. That's just one thing about him that sort of it gets old after a while. Maybe old school, but I love to see Ross not backing down. Period. Look. I like the fact that Ross didn't back down, and I like the fact that from Noah Gregson's perspective, he stood up for himself. Whereas 30 some other drivers want to cry about it on Twitter and podcasts and other things and won't stick up for themselves. Noah Gragson immediately went and stuck up for himself. So I like Noah's perspective on it too. Like I said, I said it on Twitter. I like both of those guys. I like both of them even more now because they're more real. They're not these cookie cutter PC guys trying to get sponsors. They're not afraid to be who they are in real life on that track and off of it. Denny will cry when he gets done that way, as usual, says Bumblebee. David Nyhoff, the leader, is sitting duck on the last lap. Yeah, as far as this car goes, I would have to agree with you. One wise guy, I didn't think Noah would have been the one to dumped and ran on. Noah. Noah, he's not scared though. He's done it to Harrison Burton, I guess, before. He tried to do it to Daniel Hemrick, and for all those people, like if Noah Gragson had connected, remember when he tried to connect on Daniel Hemrick? His punches go so far back, and they take so far to get forward. The Daniel Hemrick had plenty of time to duck and fire one back. So that's what I'm saying about Noah Gragson. Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of power behind it, but after 30 seconds, he's going to be tired. A and B, it takes so long for his punches to get there. Like a normal human being's got time to sort of slide out of the way of them. He shouldn't be fighting anyway, but if he wants to continue fighting, I have to agree with Dale Jr. He needs to go learn how to fight. I thought for sure that was going to be a side-by-side instant classic to the line, says TJ Moorshed. I did too, but at the end of the day, Denny Hamlin needed that win to get into the playoffs, so he took it. Gragson deserved that rabbit punch, says Larry Probus. Yeah, I mean, he grabbed him and Ross told him to let go of him, and it is what it is. Greatest race I've seen, says Nerd Channel. It was definitely a good one. It's going to be an all-time classic, especially with that ice. It's going to be like that Daytona 500 where they wreck at the end, and you see whoever wins the race. I think it was it Richard Petty that won the race or somebody, and then you see the bigger story was the fighting on the infield in that one. It'll be on the pits in this one, so that'll be one of those that makes the highlight reel for sure. Ross is the points leader, says Donnie Love. So yeah, I would like to point out that Ross is the points leader as well. For everybody, it's like Ross sucks. He's no good. He's leading the points. Jr. He who says LOL. JR team. Carl Edwards is in the booth next week for stage. Oh yeah, that's awesome news. For stage 2 and 3 with Bill Elliott. Like everybody was hyped up about Carl Edwards, but how about Bill Elliott being in the booth too? Carl Edwards going to be in the booth, and then they're going to have another hour with Kyle Petty and Richard Petty. So the booth next week is actually going to be really cool, in my opinion. So I'm stoked for all those dudes. Cousin Carl coming back to a NASCAR event to support it in any way is always cool. Didn't like the Trackhouse bouncer getting between drivers. Where was the team, says Duke Chronic. Well, I'm going to here, and I agree with you. They should have let the drivers go, but I will stick up for that guy. I'm pretty sure he is paid to be a bouncer, paid to be security, and that guy's getting paid to be security. If he just lets them go, he's not probably getting a paycheck anymore, so he did his job. So I'm not going to hate on that dude. He did what he's there to do. I agree with you. Noah is not in shape. Ross would have outlasted him. Noah would be out of breath, says Gentry. Yeah, that and like I said, I think Ross has been in some fights before. Noah's been in some fights, but he's been in some fights with race car drivers, and I'm going to leave it at that. Just got here. Denny sucks. Denny sucks. Denny sucks. Hell yeah, Ross. I heard the lick. I love it, says Josh Strickland. So he was in favor of Ross standing up for himself as well. Going to be good to hear from cousin Carl, says Donnie Love. Yeah, that's definitely going to be cool. I think it's going to be the first time a lot of people have heard from Carl Edwards since he retired that aren't diehard like NASCAR fans or whatever. KB and Denny are poster boys for pit road problems. Oh, yeah, speeding all day long. They love the speed. I wish they'd stop. Hey, y'all listening and barbecuing, says Mark Barnum. That barbecue sounds pretty nice right about now. Noah's a rookie, and he was the guy to do something about it, says Duke Chronic. That's what I'm telling you, man. Like, all these guys that instigated and told him to do that, like they're Charmin extra soft in my opinion. So it is what it is. Don't mess with and I know who I included in that. I don't give a crap, whatever. Josh Strickland, don't mess with country boys. Yeah, I agree with you, Josh Strickland. Or Florida men, which Ross Chastain is both. Mark Barnum, we did ribs and wings. Noah's fries came with a knuckle sandwich, says Mark Barnum. Ross is picking on too many. He's going to get it many times, says NASCAR guy. I mean, I think it will hurt his chances eventually. But like I said, now these guys know that on or off the track, they're going to get something from Ross Chastain. So if these guys are already scared to do something as it stands, do you really think they're going to do anything? The only exception being Noah Gragson. If he turns this into a Jeff Bodine versus Earnhardt situation, that might hurt Ross Chastain. But until I see him actually do something, we'll see. If Gragson didn't have contact with Ross, he would have won today, says OJ and Toothpaste. Well, I mean, I don't know. Josh Bilicki on Earth 2, 100%. OJ and Toothpaste is talking about Earth 2 Beast, by the way. I'm ready for Darlington. They're squaring up like this at Kansas. Just imagine the lady in black. Yeah, I think that's going to be good too. And looks like we got a super chat down here. Tacona too with the super chat, man. Appreciate it, Tacona. Fist bump for you, man. Appreciate you helping out the cause, dude. That is awesome. Thank you so much. Ty Dillon's performance has been getting slightly better as seen today. I think if Ty Dillon could just finish races without blowing up or getting caught in wrecks, he might be. I don't think he's quite as good as Corey LaJoie, but I think he could be around where Corey LaJoie's at if he would just stop. You know, he can't help the engines blowing up and getting caught up in other people's stuff. Josh Strickland, I like what you said. Noah and Ross just stand up for themselves. Yeah, like I said, I don't have a problem with what either one of them did, and both of them raised up a notch in my book. Because like Noah said, these people telling him to go do something, I actually lost respect for them because Noah is the guy that actually went and did something instead of crying about it on Twitter, crying about it on a podcast, crying about it on NASCAR, whatever, on Fox. Stop crying about it and do something, dude. Like I'm just tired of hearing it. I'm kind of with Brett Griffin on it. All these people talk about it, but they don't do anything. So at the end of the day, you know, just stop talking about it if you're not going to do anything. Robin Marks, oh yeah, there was a race. Ross didn't win, but a top 5, number 1 in points also. And when they try to pay Ross back by bumping him, he doesn't spin, and Ross doesn't complain about it. He was smiling. And the reason, and to add on to that, the reason why he reminds me of Dale Earnhardt is if you remember a young Dale Earnhardt, I forget who it was that went to pass him on the outside, and Earnhardt basically brushed him into the wall, and he did it 2 or 3 times. And the guy went up to complain to Earnhardt about how he was driving him. And he said, well, what did you learn? He said, you learned not to pass me on the outside, didn't you? And so that really 100% just reminds me of how Ross Chastain is driving right now. So like if you're an Earnhardt fan and you don't like the way Ross Chastain is driving, I don't get it, because young Earnhardt 100% drove the exact same way. Denny could not see the tree for the forest. He does whine, but he ran Larson down. I would do the same thing if I had to catch someone. I would move them and expect the same if they're going to run me down, says Gentry Debbie. Yeah, I'm 100% with you on that one. I don't have a problem with what Denny Hamlin did. I just have a problem with how Denny Hamlin reacts to it when it's done to him. The fight gives NASCAR sort of that old school feel. Galactopus on this one. People hate to admit it, but that's how they got popular and stayed popular. It's not a bad thing. Look at pro hockey. It's a bloodbath. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you. Like, NASCAR wants to build up drama. This is about the maximum drama we've had in quite some time. Let's see. Don't root for Ross or any Chevy or Yoda, but I've been waiting for this to happen. Ross is sneaky good, LOL, says Stephen D'Amelio Jr. Yeah, for sure. I know exactly what you're talking about. Noah needs to learn how to not telegraph his punches, says Mark Barnum. Yeah, he rears back way too far. He's always trying to rear back way too far, so you can kind of see it coming. And even if you look at it, they're like, oh, he would have hit him. Ross had already ducked. Like, I don't know. So it is what it is. Maybe they'll let him go next time. There are several angles to watch it from. It's very clear. One, that Ross never runs or ran him up the wall. So I'm not sure what you're talking about there. But yeah, I don't think Ross is scared, and I don't think Ross ran him up there. Ross did push up, but there was still plenty of room for Noah Gragson. I think it's one of those things where it's the Ross Chastain effect. You're thinking about how he drives so much that you're like, oh, he's coming up, so you make an extra move when there was actually room there, because you're believing into this myth that Ross Chastain is just out here wrecking everybody every single lap. So that does play into it too, which is called intimidation, which is how some old dude back in the day got a nickname about that. I don't know. Has Rick Ware Racing released their throwback schemes with Newman coming back? Would like to see an all-tail throwback. The all-tail throwback would be cool, T-Van. That would be pretty cool. So Ross has protection for his on-track stuff, says Duke Chronic. I mean, yeah, I don't have a problem with that either. Like, because you shouldn't be fighting on pit road or anywhere else, period. If you listen to the previous live stream, at least one or two ago, I told you that there was a rumor that some of the Trackhouse guys, some of the Legacy Motorsports ran up on Ross in a parking lot and were chirping. So that's probably why he's walking around with security now, because they cornered him allegedly in a parking lot somewhere. Nice to see the channel stand up for Ross and call Denny on his hypocrisy. I think it's the best thing for the sport since Dale says Tacona 2. So, yeah, at the end of the day, Denny Hamlin won a race, and he won it by wrecking Kyle Larson. Words from his own mouth. I'm not putting them out there. He said that he ran into him, and he said he did it trying to side draft too close. So instead of talking about that, we're once again talking about Ross Chastain. So if you can like Ross Chastain, you can hate Ross Chastain. Because if I know some of you are not old enough to remember this, but that's exactly how Dale Earnhardt was. You either liked Dale Earnhardt or you absolutely despised Dale Earnhardt, hated Dale Earnhardt. There were two license plates that I saw the most on the front of trucks and cars back in the 80s and 90s. One was the 3. The other one was the 3 with the cross through it. So those were the two that sold the most. So that's sort of where he's at with it. And like I said, that's just good for the sport that you've got somebody that you absolutely either hate or love. And it's ironic that Denny Hamlin is the one that complained about him the most. And then Denny Hamlin wrecks a guy for the win here. Not that it was super egregious, and I don't have a problem with Denny Hamlin doing that, but I just have a problem with the double standard. He hates it when it's done to him, which is just about any other driver ever, but he's just more vocal about it, I guess, than other people. Austin Dillon got 10th. His bad luck might be over, says Robin Marks. That's a typical Austin Dillon day, right? Nowhere, 10th. Lost knowledge. The lick heard around the world. Hats off to Ross, the boss Chastain. The other funny thing was it was hilarious to see Denny Hamlin's reaction. Bob Pockra showed Denny Hamlin the confrontation on the phone. And Denny Hamlin's reaction to it was, well, he told him to let go of him. So he was actually, ironically, in this situation, Denny Hamlin, when he was talking to Bob Pockris, was actually in agreement with Ross Chastain. Jamie Thornton, hi, Lunenberger. Sorry, I've missed you this year. I've been battling stuff. Oh, my goodness, Jamie. I'm so sorry about that. Thoughts and prayers go with you on that. I hope you get better. Just watched the Noah interview saying nobody confronts him. He used this up with 60 to go. He runs into everyone. Yeah, so like I said, from Noah's perspective, I like that Noah stood up for himself. 100% like that he stood up for himself. And from Ross Chastain's perspective, I like that Ross Chastain stood up for himself. That's what I'm saying. I like that those two guys stood up for themselves because they're being their real selves in this NASCAR world where you hardly ever see anybody be their real selves. They're trying to be this PC, politically correct person to keep sponsors and do stuff like that. And it's the same reason I like Denny Hamlin. Like, he's not afraid to say what he thinks. I don't always agree with what Denny Hamlin thinks, but he's not afraid to say it. So that's why I said I'll always back him too, even though like the one thing that nags me about him is his blatant hypocrisy in certain situations. It was the Watermelon Punch Bowl, says Panny Annie. So there you go, the Watermelon Punch Bowl. And man, Jamie, we're gonna be praying for you without a doubt here, because I hate that you're going through that, and I hope you make a full recovery. 100%. Didn't want to bury the lead on that one. So glad you're here on this one for sure. Quiet Cat says hit the like button. You can hit the like button if you want to. Donnie Love sending up thoughts and prayers to you as well. Jamie, greetings from Escape from LA, says E Damon Racing. What's up, E Damon? What's up, LA? Ross had a nice punch. Let's see him get tips from Tyson, not punches. He still needs to drive, says T-Van. Yeah, so hopefully there's no more fights in the pits. Like I said, I hate to see that, but I think both guys stood up for themselves well today. How bad is Burton in the 21 car? Custer wasn't good enough for the 41 car. Harrison Burton's had a few really bad weeks in a row. And I hate to say it because I want to see Harrison Burton do really well. But it might be in his best interest to go back down to Xfinity and get some more seasoning down there and then come back up. He's still young. He's got plenty of time to come back up. But I think he was moved up too soon. And I like Harrison Burton. I'm behind him 100%. But I think he might have been moved up too early. Compare and contrast. Denny likes to complain. Ross never complains. Yeah, they're oil and water, oil and vinegar. Jamie Thornton, first race I've watched this year since early on from my sickness. My God. Is it just me, or was the racing at Kansas amazing? It was a great race. Thanks, Donnie Love. I hate it for Larson. His car went away at the end, says Jamie. It was a great race, and I don't think you'll ever get another I don't know that there will ever be another Kansas race quite that good, because typically the Kansas races don't have those great finishes. So I think forever till the end of time, this will probably be the best Kansas finish. And I know who you pull for, so I'm glad your guy won as far as that goes. So good on you. I don't have a problem with what he did either. I just have a problem with him complaining about it when it gets done to him. But it's all good. Everybody has their flaws. Let's see. He is the points leader, so I say he's driving fine, says Quiet Cat, talking about Ross Chastain. Good race. Restarts were epic. Larson needs to take smoke up on the fight training, says David Pate. Maybe, but Larson's such a little guy, man. I think he can learn a lot of fighting, but at the end of the day, he's a pretty small guy. Bones with the super chat. F Denny Hamlin, side draft the 5, fine. Kyle handled it, wrecked him to win. Way to go, Chastain. So appreciate it, Bones. So that's his take on the issue. I like the way Kyle Larson handled it. Pretty funny that in the middle of the Kyle Larson interview, while he was talking about it, that's when the altercation broke out. Ross drove a perfect, respectful race. Kurt Busch and Boyer were great together, says Finn Larson. Yeah, I actually enjoyed the booth today. And I think the booth is going to be really good with all those guest speakers they're going to have in it next week as well. By the way, Ross went to Victory Lane and congratulated Denny. Denny told him thanks. So say what you want about Ross. He's above it all. Earnhardt would be your best friend forever off the track, says Jamie Thornton. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Like, I think behind the scenes, a lot of these guys get along a lot better. There's just something about putting on that helmet and driving in a hot race car that you lose your mind that day, and then like a couple days later, sometimes it's all good. Love where you took this conversation, says T-Van. Appreciate it. Dale Earnhardt Sr., Rusty Wallace, and Ross Chastain. Yeah, they were all very similar drivers, right? None of them were afraid to be who they were on and off the track. Ross also said that a big man once told him there is no push policy at Trackhouse. They probably have had talks about this. They know how he drives, says Glocopus. Yeah, so he definitely mentioned that. That's the one thing that a lot of people have pointed out. He might get in some trouble for that, but it'll be interesting to see. Ty Dillon, top 25, says Finn Larson. Yeah, a good day for Ty Dillon. He needed some positive momentum. He has had a very rough season. Earth 2, though, he's in the running for the championship. Old Ironhead BB was at Bristol the night he wrecked Terry, says Roger Riggs. Yeah, so if you wanted to hear a boo, I think the only thing that probably would have matched that Bristol booing, it would have been close. Bristol definitely would have been louder just because of the acoustics of it. But Martinsville, when Ty Gibbs, both times when Ty Gibbs, once when he wrecked Sam Mayer, and the other one when he wrecked Brandon Jones in the second Martinsville race. So Martinsville and Ty Gibbs, like peanut butter and jelly, always going to be good ratings. E. Damon says, I hate to say it, 4 races, and each is bad and as boring as the last. It's not going to change until the car does, sadly. Then there other series are terrible driving. I'll say that some of the races, I thought this race was actually pretty good. I didn't have a problem with this race, but I'll agree with you on some of those other races. Bumblebee says it was that moment that Denny realized he was right not to come at Ross, says Bumblebee. So Denny Hamlin, he's no dummy, right? He knows his skill set and he knows how he goes about his business. And he used discretion, was the better part of valor in that one. You say a lot of things about Denny Hamlin, but he's not dumb. Heck, I might even put a watermelon plate on my Jeep, says T-Van. Hey, there you go. That would be pretty cool. Let's see. He grabbed him. Don't do that. He found out, says John Smith. Yeah, so I don't have a problem with the grab. So I'll break that down. If you're going to start one, you don't necessarily have to throw a punch. I don't have a problem with the grab, but if you're going to do the grab, when you do the grab, you need to bring your head in, because otherwise you're leaving your head exposed. We're getting into other sports here now, aren't we? If you do the grab, bring your head in and either do a judo trip or do a judo toss, one or the other. Because if you're grabbing right here, you're especially with your left hand, you're leaving it wide open for his right hand. So there you go. It's an educational channel as well. Now you've learned that. Rover, I thought they were going to tear Bristol down that night, says Donnie Love. Yeah, it was even on TV you could see how bad it was. Talking about when Earnhardt wrecked Terry Labonte. It was a rough day at school for me that day too, because I couldn't defend that one. Even Earnhardt couldn't defend that one. Brian Kidder, Ross Chastain is the swerving Irvin quality at this point, not a 7-time champion quality yet. LOL. yeah, like I said, just pick whatever driver you want to pick. I'm just using Earnhardt because everybody has a reference point to how Dale Earnhardt Sr. drove. There are some younger people watching this that might not even have seen Ernie Irvan drive. They wouldn't have seen Earnhardt drive either, but they've heard enough stories, and he's got the legend behind him. So they know how he drove. I never liked Chase, and now I know why after Noah said that, because he's a little B, says Escobar. So there you go. I think there's going to be a little bit of blowback for what Noah said. I don't think Noah even meant to say it. He was just, he had the adrenaline flowing. It was the heat of the moment. T-Van sending his thoughts and prayers as well, Jamie. Glocktopus says, everyone at Glocktopus World Headquarters sending love to Jamie Thornton. So there you go. You are in all our thoughts and prayers here, Jamie. Without a doubt. That's the thing. I would really like Denny and love his podcast, but he needs to stop whining when people do it to him. Meeting him in person, he's so likable. Thanks for everyone. The prayers mean a lot. I agree with you 100%. I think outside of the car, Denny Hamlin is a guy that like a lot of people would really like. He is super nice. I've seen him interact with other people. I've never actually like physically talked to him and met him myself, but I've seen him interact with other people. Super down to earth, super nice guy, but he does like to troll a lot. You can just tell from the media that sometimes he's not even being serious about it. But he does like to troll a lot, and that double standard of when it gets done to him, it does rub some people the wrong way. Noah was several laps down, says Donnie Love. So that's another issue too. Donnie Love, I said 9 laps down, Uncle Bones saying. So that's another issue. Should he really have even been racing Ross at that point when he was already a couple laps down? I don't think they showed the real reason Noah was salty on TV. Maybe someone on the internet dug it up, but the clip they showed at the end wasn't it, says Glocktopus. Yeah, so like I'm saying, this actually stems back to last week, in my opinion. If you saw one of the previous live streams where I said there was a confrontation between some legacy crew members and Ross Chastain in an undisclosed parking lot, allegedly, rumors, but I'm pretty sure they're true. Race Grub, if I had to guess, in my opinion, did hear it right. Most laps led changes, most lead changes on a 1.5 track in NASCAR history. I thought I heard that during the broadcast. I know it for sure was at Kansas. I don't know about a history at a 1.5, but it was a pretty good race. A lot of cautions, so a lot of people might not have liked that. I love the classy way Joey was enjoying his refreshing ice cold Coca-Cola whilst watching the fight 10 feet away. That was pretty funny. I caught that too, Jamie. He was just watching it like it was entertainment. I remember in his fights with Stewart and Kenseth, just reminiscing of old times. He was like, yes, I've been in that situation before too. Let me enjoy this cool Coca-Cola as I watch these two knuckleheads fight each other. Josh Strickland, I wonder what Denny Sucks will say on his podcast. He might blame it on Ross. So I don't know. I think at this point, Denny is aware enough that he's not going to do that. He's going to be like, hey, look, I did what I had to do to get the win. That's 100% what I expect him to say on the podcast. Take a look at what Chastain did, Rick Allen, 2022, Sky Talent. So yeah, even the media is in on the Ross Chastain bandwagon on the other side of it, not pulling for him. Jamie Thornton, I wanted to another Darlington Craven, Kurt Busch side by side trading paint finish. We all did, but at the end of the day, Denny Hamlin doesn't. He needed that win for the season, so I don't necessarily blame him for what he did. It's just ironic and funny because he's got that double standard. He hates it when it's done to him, and it's ironic that Ross Chastain throws a punch in this one, because one of the biggest proponents as to why some people hate Ross Chastain is because Denny Hamlin flamed him so hard when he was driving Denny Hamlin kind of rough last season. I want to see Ford invest more in Wood Brothers Racing. They have stuck with them forever, says T-Van. Yeah, I would too. I don't know necessarily that it's all Harrison Burton's fault, but he has not had a good probably last 5 races. His last 5 races have been some of the worst in his career. What's up, guys? What's up, Mr. Pearson? Jamie, that Darlington race was I'm not following you on that one, Donnie. David Nyhoff, what was wrong with the Fords today? This track, for whatever reason, didn't line up with whatever Ford brought as far as their setup. So it sort of is what it is. Jamie was just about to say, also get well soon. We're rooting for you, says Sky Talent. Hot. Warren Pavement had a lot to do with the racing today, says Marcus Barnum. So yeah, for once they didn't have as much grip as they like. So maybe we've sort of figured out what the issue is. We need to get the tires to fall off more. Not that we didn't already know that, but maybe tire fall off is quite important when you have lower horsepower than they're used to. Donnie, love that Darlington race. That was my second NASCAR race ever. It was amazing. Got me hooked. Nobody liked Kurt in those days, but he went over and congratulated Craven, which was classy. Yeah, that was definitely one of the ultimates. That was definitely one of the ultimate finishes in NASCAR history, if not the best finishes in NASCAR history. By the way, Pito, we're like Oompa Loompa fighting. LOL, says E Damon Racing. Pito, we're like auto. Sky Talent, thanks so much. NASCAR family is awesome. It's been rough, but trying to make it through, says Jamie. E. Damon says, forget it, LOL. UFC at NASCAR, says Philip Canavan, was a pretty interesting race, says Skew Car. 2 massive recoveries for Byron in 2 weeks. He's showing some serious patience and talent. Yeah, he definitely recovered. Because when he wrecked early in this race, I was like, here we go again. William Byron going to start the season off really good and then go into a slide and a slump. Same thing with Christopher Bell. Christopher Bell wrecked. This is typically the time of year last year where both of those guys went into a slump, and Christopher Bell came out of it. William Byron didn't come out of it quite as good as Christopher Bell did, but hopefully they can both be consistent for the rest of this year. I like veteran drivers, says Duke Chronic. Jamie, one of the greatest finishes every year. Kurt was smiling ear to ear for finishing second, says Donnie Love. Yeah, for sure. That was that Darlington race forever etched in my mind because I can remember exactly where I was at when I saw it. Mike Tyson was taught to get in close. You're correct. Ross knows how to fight. He grabbed Noah's right. Noah needs to learn to bob and weave like Iron Mike, says Robin Marks. Yeah, 100%. If he's gonna go down there and be the enforcer for all those guys who won't enforce it for themselves, he definitely needs to possibly take some lessons, even if it's just LA boxing. So just go somewhere and learn something. Jamie Thornton, yeah, Donnie Love. I kept watching the replay over and over. When we got home, I lived in North Georgia in those days. It was a fun trip and amazing. Second race to see. I really liked Kurt after that, says Jamie. I could use some prayers from y'all. My mom and her boyfriend haven't been doing well on here. Trying to relax myself with you, BB. You mean a lot to me, even though we never met. Oh, that's all good. We met on the internet, man. Like it's like we have a conversation. We've met. Fun, just listening and talking. So yeah, let's also lift up T-Van as well. Mark 63. Gregson does his Mo impression with the haircut and takes a slap from Shemp. So there you go, the Two Stooges. According to Mark 63, if drivers need security for a regular race to race, is NASCAR going to say pit roads for the crew? Yeah, like that's a tough situation. That's why I say I don't want to see any more fighting on pit road. And Beast lifting it up. Beast with the $2 shout out as well. Beast lifting up T-Van as well. I'd like to put aside, can we talk about the move at the end? People hating on Denny, but Larson was loose and might not have held it together. To me, it looked like he bounced off the wall. Yeah, and even if he hadn't bounced off the wall, there wasn't going to be enough room for him to come down. And even Denny Hamlin said he was side drafting too aggressively. So Denny Hamlin, in his own opinion, knew what he was doing in that situation, which is what I'm saying. I don't have a problem with what Denny Hamlin actually did in that situation. I just have a problem with the double standard when it gets done to him. He goes on his podcast and has a field day with it when it gets done to him, but he'll do it to somebody else. But either way, it's not the end of the world. At the end of the way, it's just a racing move to me, in my opinion. Which, like, I like Ross Chastain, so I'm certainly not complaining about what Denny did. I'm only complaining about Denny's double standard. I have no problem with somebody moving somebody for a win. I have no problem with it. Because at the end of the day, I've told this story about my grandpa, but I'm going to tell it again because some people have never heard it. We were racing go-karts at Myrtle Beach at the Myrtle Beach Grand Prix, and my granddad moved me out of the way, and I had a sour face, and I was about to say something. He said, look, if you can't have fun racing race cars, we're just not going to do it anymore. This is fun. If you're going to be mad about it, then we'll just never do it again. So from that day on, I was just like, you know what? If I have to wreck my grandpa to win, I'm going to wreck him to win. If I get wrecked for the win, I'm not going to cry about it because there's definitely less fun things in the world that other people are doing. So if you're not having fun racing, do something else. So I have no problem with moving somebody for the win because that's the lesson I learned at an early age. So that might be different than everybody else, but I have no problem with aggressive driving. So if that was the normal world, somebody would be going to adult timeout. I agree with you, Mark Langren. Word is in the new front nose on the Ford, set them back a bit, says Duke Chronic. It could be. It could be. And that's something they had to chase a little bit last year. But hopefully they get on top of it. It looks like Penske is a little bit off this year, and that's hurting Ford quite a bit. Jamie, best of luck, says Mark Langren. Kurt Busch was a bit of a hellraiser when he first came in. Him and Spencer. Oh yeah, Kurt Busch burned him down when he first got in there, and there's no doubt about that. It looked like Joey and even Bubba may have finished with a W. Great race, says Jamie Spicer. Yeah, there were so many people. It looked like they had a chance to win at various points in this race. Josh Strickland saying, "What's up, the T-Van?" Ross, be like Bobby Allison. He commented, "He beat his fist with my face." Denny, if you can't pass them, bump them, says Elaine Lucart. Yeah, like I said, I have no problem with it. Just the double standard part of it. Working on jerky, says Mark Langren. Hey, so there you go. Working on some beef jerky or some deer jerky or something over there. I like it. I like your style, Mark. Duke Chronic, would you punch your friend in the face? Ross did, says Duke Chronic. It depends on what my friend said. To be totally honest, so yes. Mark Langren with the thumbs up. Bob Dole, I'm a Larson fan, but Denny would be an idiot to lift there, says Bob Dole. I'm tired of the crew guys breaking up fights. Yes, I mean, I wouldn't mind just let it go. But unfortunately, I don't want to see any fighting on pit road to begin with. Let me lead with that. But if they are going to get into it, let them go for at least 30 or 40 seconds, and then they'll probably both be tired because they've just had a full race, and then just break it up then. Working previously at a bar and grill as a bouncer after hours, I typically would let them wear themselves out and then break them up afterwards, because the guy that gets hit the hardest is usually the guy trying to break up the fight. I nursed my mom back during her stage 4 lung cancer. I hear you all. Just do your best. It's all you got. We're all one big family here, says Robin Marks. Thank you, Robin Marks. That's a very good way of putting it. And that's exactly how I feel too. Nobody ever messed with Ricky Rudd. They were all scared of him. Even Earnhardt, says Mark 63. I agree with you with one exception. Kevin Harvick tried to get a piece of that butt one day. So that was a pretty good one too. Those were two pretty hard-headed guys. That probably would have been a pretty good one. Kevin Harvick, a former wrestler, and Ricky Rudd, just a tough dude all around. NASCAR won't add more horsepower, so at least cut the GT2 style brakes in half and cut some tire grip. I'm with you on that one, E. Damon, 100%. Even if you just need to make the tires skinnier, at least we'd have better racing, changed brake zones, corner speed, etc. as a result. Yeah, so if you can't give them more horsepower, give them less grip, because it does the same basic thing. One wise guy says Ryan Newman and Ross is next week's race. I should be interested in watching people pass. I'm with you on that one, one wise guy. That's the one I want to see. Mark 63, the old Rooster. Yeah, old Rooster was a tough one. Jimmy Thornton Blendenberger, that's an awesome story. Outside of hooking a guy, all bets are off on the last lap. That's so cool that you got to run that race. That had to be fun. Oh yeah, every time we went down there, we all ran one as a family, and typically we were very aggressive with each other. Probably more so than we would have been with anybody else on the track. Elaine Lucart just changed the name from racing to bumping, says Elaine. That's true. Pork and beef. Neighbor is bringing old deer meat next week, says Mark Langren. They know how good the 5 is. He has been taking out the last 4 races, says Duke Chronic. Yeah, it's kind of starting to suck. I'm not going to lie to you about that. But at least we got the second place finish on this one. Love me some Ricky Rudd, said T-Van. Yeah, Ricky Rudd was an all-timer, man. Like, I was a big Earnhardt fan, and Ricky Rudd cost Earnhardt a race, so I hated him for like 2 weeks, but I couldn't stay mad at the dude because, like, I just liked his style, man. He was so aggressive, and I just after even probably halfway through the season with the 26 Buick, after that I got over it, and I've been on board with Ricky Rudd ever since. Even back then, because I was a big Chevy guy back then. Even when he was driving a Ford, it was a cell phone team, and he was driving a cell phone Ford. I was like, I like that dude. I like Jeff Bodine too, even though he got into it with Earnhardt. Because when Jeff Bodine owned his own team and was just doing his own thing, I was like, man, that dude's tough. I like that. That's pretty cool. I think Ty Dillon will get the number 4 car next year, says OJ and Toothpaste. On Earth 2, that would be downgrade from the equipment he's got now. So I don't know. Bob Dole said, for real, LOL. Rooster Ricky, says Duke Chronic. My dad told me the same thing in the same situation. So thankful for that memory, says Josh Strickland. Yeah, 100%. Like it's supposed to be fun at the end of the day, especially at that level where you're not losing like 10 grand every time you wreck. T Van says thank you all for the thoughts and prayers. What's the likelihood the two brawlers receive any fines or sanctions from the fight? They probably should, but like I said, NASCAR painted themselves into a bad corner when they didn't find Ty Gibbs for doing the same thing. So that's kind of where I stand on it. So I don't know. But you could also look at when Noah Gragson threw that punch, if he got fined for that when it was against Daniel Hemrick or Harrison Burton. If they find him in that one, maybe that's the precedent they go back to. NASCAR's painted themselves into a corner either way, though. Ricky Rudd, a.k.a. The Rooster. Robin Marks, NASCAR needs a boxing ring. That way, if one driver has a gripe with another, they run and challenge the offender in an actual fight. I think that would make things a lot better to be at the end of the day. And you would have a referee and a softer floor if somebody fell down or, bumped their head on the end. Everyone forgetting when Larry Lackey gave Ricky Rudd the black eye and threw a guided missile water bottle at him, says Glocknopus. I definitely forgot that one because I never saw that one. A little bit before my time, or I missed that race, but I'll have to look that one up. So yes, I did forget about it because I didn't know it. But thanks for chiming in with that one. Donnie Love looked like Toyota's race at one time, all 6 in the top 10. Yeah, without a doubt. Looked like Toyota was going to teriyaki. I'm so hungry right now. Toyota was going to dominate that thing for sure. And without a doubt, they at the end of the day, pit strategy came into play. And the Chevrolets were able to break it up just enough. Unfortunately, Kyle Larson couldn't hold on, but Denny Hamlin did what he had to do to get that win, and that's all you got to do. I would not mess with Jeffrey Earnhardt. He is a former MMA fighter. I wouldn't mess with him either. I scored a sweet Jeffrey Earnhardt pit crew shirt for $9 on eBay, and this is the exact moment that I needed to share that information with the world. So that'll be coming out pretty soon. Ricky was robbed when he turned Allison, says Robin Marks. Yeah, that's fair too. David Nyhoff, and in this particular situation, Earnhardt and Ricky Rudd both had to go to the back of the field, so it cost them that win at North Wilkesboro. That's when Jeff Bodine and Rusty Wallace battled to the end of that race, and that was a heck of a match too between Bodine and Wallace. Wallace in the number 27 Kodiak Pontiac finished the race first there in that one. David Nyhoff says, I remember Rudd crashing at Daytona in the Clash and went to North Wilkesboro and won the pole with 2 black eyes, and they were both taped open because they were swollen shut. If there were penalties for the fight, NASCAR would have a bunch of wimps because know they will be showing it over and over again. Yeah, for sure. That's the issue I have with NASCAR. If you're going to fine them, you can't show it as a hype reel either. Jeffrey Earnhardt, former MMA fighter, not to be messed with, said Mark 63. I agree with that. Whatever happened to they say Andy Lally too. They said Andy Lally used to be a road course ringer. They said he's a pretty tough guy too. You don't want to fool with him. Whatever happened to Boys Have At It? Noah came up, grabbed his suit, and got popped on the chin, says Riding with Wheels. Yeah, I mean, if this is still the Have At It era, then neither one of them should be fined. Mark Langren, I wanted to follow my brother's line, and we got heated into turn 12 at Road America. That's part of it. Ty might run the JGR1 one day. Says Duke Chronic. He actually drove for JGR in the Xfinity series. So not out of the realm of possibility in Earth 2, without a doubt. Elaine Lucart says when they show highlights of finishes, they show door-to-door crossing the finish line, not bumping out of the way. I mean, I agree with you, Elaine, on that one. So you are losing with this playoff system. You are sort of losing those exciting finishes because people want the guaranteed win to lock them into the playoffs, and everybody seems to be okay with it. The Road water bottle fight is on YouTube. I'll check it out. Robin Marks, appreciate it, and appreciate Glocknopus for putting me onto it. T-Van, good luck, says Mark Langren. So more people thinking about you as well, T-Van and Jamie. The Glocknopus, teriyaki dominates no matter what. Yeah, teriyaki, that's one of my favorite sauces for sure. These new drivers should be graceful. Uncle Carl doesn't still race in Cup Series. He was scary when he was mad. Yeah, he's just a big dude. Like, it doesn't matter if he had technique or not. He was a big dude if he got a hold of you. He's like, what, 6'3", 6'2"? Compared to these drivers that are usually around 5'9"-ish. Curry on the Korean barbecue. Oh, there you go, Mark Langren. I like your style there. Putting a little curry on the Korean barbecue. The black eyes, it was Ricky the Raccoon. He was tough, says Robin Marks. Austin Hill looks like someone that could hurt you. He's a big. Oh yeah, Austin Hill without a doubt. He's got to be up there too. Cousin Carl was a fitness freak. Yep. Mark Langren, Korean barbecue is amazing, says Gloctopus. I agree with both of you there. Josh Strickland, they can't find Ross for defending himself. Someone, oh yeah, I agree with that. Now you have to, if you're going to do it, you have to pop the aggressor, and that's why I think there won't be any fine, because as soon as Noah grabs him, you have to know that you're in a bad situation. So you got to defend yourself. So I agree with that one. Easy on certain words, guys. We don't want to get demonetized, says Mark Barnum. Yeah, I would appreciate it, because I'm like Ron Burgundy. If it's on there, sometimes I'll read it. Carl, let Joey know what happens when you mess with him, says Mark Langren. For sure. No doubt about that. He tried to let Kevin Harvick know what happened, but Kevin Harvick put him on the hood of a car using the old double leg to put him on the hood of the car from his wrestling days. Imagine Chastain and Newman in the same generation of racing. Man. They actually had some battles back in the day, but it wasn't teriyaki. It wasn't televised yet because Ross Chastain wasn't quite as big of a name. But I imagine when Ryan comes back, it'll be a spotlight. I'm sure Fox is smart enough to play that one when they're passing each other. Imagine Chastain and Newman in the same generation of racing. I just thought I said that one. My next Gran Turismo 7 profile driver is going to be named Teriyaki. I like it. Also, from the Fast and the Furious, that Tokyo Drift song, that is by the Teriyaki Boys, and I'm not going to sing that one. So you'll have to do your research on that one. Just say I can't do it because my phone's right here. But ask Siri, and she will tell you what the Teriyaki Boys song from Fast and the Furious is. Remember the war between Carl and Brad? Yeah, that one got pretty heated too. So that's probably the one of the more recent ones. Joey Logano and Denny Hamlin is the other one that pops to mind. Thank you again to everyone on this channel. This is probably my favorite channel on YouTube. Thank you, BB. Thank you, T-Van. We appreciate you, man. Like I said, you and Jamie, we got your backs. You're part of the family here, part of the gang. E. Damon, Carl Edwards would destroy all 40 drivers on track in a fight, not a contest. I liked him. Just didn't root to win. Just a last tough guy. There's always got to be one best one in the field, right? As far as that goes, not necessarily talking about on the track. I'm talking about when it comes down to guys you mess with and guys you don't in the pit road. He's got to be up there, top five. For Ernie Irvan to come back from driving with those injuries was incredible. He was tough. Says, there's no doubt about it. Ernie Irvan is one of the toughest cats in the garage ever. Mark Langren, I'm still looking for a recipe for Korean sit down with a center heated bowl and a bunch of stuff to donkey to cook, and then soup afterwards. When I was in Korea, Ross be like John Wayne. I won't be wronged, I won't be insulted, and I won't be laid a hand on. I don't do these things to other people, and I require the same from them, says B1624. I like the old, I'm not going to read it in John Wayne. I know you wanted me to, but I'm not going to do that. David Nyhoff says, did y'all race this weekend? We did. We raced at South Boston. We got third in the first of the twins, and we got fifth in the second race. And it was good times. We were bummed out with third and fifth, but I told them after the race, I was like, look, we're bummed out with third and fifth, but there are previous years where we would have been happy with third and fifth. So to be bummed out about third and fifth is a good place to be bummed out about these days. All these drivers ending their winless streak. How about a poll on who will be the next driver to end their winless streak? Yeah, we'll try that. I'll just do a Q&A. There you go. Q&A is up. Let me end that one right now. Uh-oh. All right, there we go. So that didn't work. So I'm going to have to actually put names on it. Start a poll. Let's see. Who will end their winless streak? Streak. Let's go. What's Ryan Blaney, Ross Chastain. Do a little. Let's see, AJ Allmendinger. another one in here. Brad Keselowski. That's a good one. I can't spell, so I'm just going to put BK. And that is, they're only going to give me 4 options. So those are going to be the 4 options. Ross is Jimmy Spencer, not the Duke, says Duke Chronic. Let's see. All these drivers ending their winless streak. Okay, there you go. Mark Langren says Dunk. I got you. Instead of Donkey, it was Dunk. I got you now, buddy. I was wondering what Donkey had to do with that, but Dunk makes 100% more sense. I appreciate it, Mark Langren. Look, autocorrect gets me all the time too, so don't even sweat it. Ross is Jimmy Spencer, not the Duke. Talking about John Wayne. I just realized I hadn't liked the post until now. Everyone go and like it. Yeah, so if you want to like the channel, go ahead, or like the live stream, go ahead and like the live stream. Jamie Schweitzer, agree. Riding with wheels, NASCAR needs to keep their nose out of it and let Ross and Noah work it out on their own. Says riding. I'm with you on that one too, because like I said, I don't after a long race on a hot day like that, I don't think it would have lasted more than 40 seconds. Hey, not in the back. Keep doing it and smiling. Says Mark Langren. David Nyhoff going with Blaney. That a 3D printer. Says Duke Chronic. I know it's not a 3D printer. I don't know what you're talking about. This is a camera. And that's just the here we go. Yeah, that's just the cord to the external monitor. This is a Panasonic BGH1. It's a really fancy camera I use for my commercial stuff. Nyhoff says Blaney, AJ, Duke Chronic. I don't know what else would look like a 3D printer. I think that's the only thing that looks like a 3D printer. Let's see. I used to have one. I had a Dremel 3D printer. So yeah, I do know how to do all that stuff, but I sold that one. Do you think NASCAR? It didn't have quite a big enough work envelope to do the stuff I wanted to do. Do you think NASCAR is going to stick their nose in this crap, or should I just let them deal with it on their own? Says Riding with Wheels. Hopefully, they just let them deal with it on their own. Donnie Love saying Blaney and Duke Chronic saying Brad K. Ross will wreck folks. Say sorry after until the playoff berth win comes. Says E Damon Racing. Yep, that's a fact. Winless streak. BB needs to eat. LOL. Yeah, for sure. No doubt about it. I think one of my favorite rivalries was Randy LaJoy and Buckshot Jones one, without a doubt. That was actually a crazy one because like Buckshot Jones would be like one of the last people I would ever mess with. And Randy LaJoy was never a guy who I ever thought like that guy's going to go over there and start some drama at that time. But then learning more about Randy LaJoy, I was like, oh, I can 100% see that now. I am happy someone finally tried to fight Ross Chastain, and I hope this becomes a rivalry. But it would be a better rivalry if it was like Chastain versus Gibbs, who got mad at each other. Yeah, like Noah, hopefully Noah can get some wins and sort of makes this sort of interesting. I think Noah is getting better week to week, day to day. But right now, he's a rookie, right? So it is what it is. Mark, that was a good one. Everyone had a buckshot deal. Says Duke Chronic. Hey, 3D printers are dirt cheap. If I get a chance, maybe a BB emblem. Hey, so there you go. That'd be cool. If you get one together, that would be definitely awesome. I had a barbecue Iowa chops, pasta, and sweet peas. While I'm let me end the Q&A because I screwed up. Sorry about that. And now poll looks pretty close between Chastain and Blaney, so that's definitely really close right there. So that's going to be interesting. I'll leave that up for probably about 10. Go for about 10 more minutes, and then I'll take that poll down if I remember. I'm usually really bad at that. So get your last questions, comments in, and then I'm gonna hop off here. From Hy-Vee, says Mark Langren. Oh, there you go. That'd be pretty cool if you get one from Hy-Vee. I didn't even know they had them. We don't have Hy-Vees around here. I really thought Larson had it in the bag. The announcers drive me up a wall, talking second place up the whole time. Crybaby Denny ran out of talent. I should have heard Larson's crew chief. Says Mountain Grizzly. Yeah, I'll have to go back and see if I can find some audio from the old crew chief there. After tons of rewatching, I will actually say this: originally mad at Ross, but Ross actually handled it maturely. Noah was the one that was aggressive and honestly handled it poorly. I mean, from Noah's perspective, I feel like he thought he needed to stick up for himself. And from Noah's perspective, I don't think he thought he had a lot of room there, but Ross did leave him room there in the actual incident that they showed on TV. and Ross did hit him first, but he didn't make the first aggressive move. So I do agree with you on that. I do like that both guys stood up for themselves, though. So I will say that in a world of drivers trying to be PC for sponsor purposes. No fairway says Mark. Who do I want to win? The Dinger LMA. LMAO, you can't spell. Sounds like me, says T-Van. Yeah, I used to be good at spelling, but then autocorrect came along, and at first it was a dream, but now it's just made me dumber. I enjoy the rivalry between because I need to be dumber. Bodine and Earnhardt, says David Nyhoff. Yeah, it was one of the all timers. Hy-Vee is an Iowan chain. BB. Yeah, they have one in. They had some in Indianapolis too, if I'm not mistaken. I think I saw one or two up there. Not that I condone it, but who would win in a fist fight, Kyle Larson or Ty Gibbs? At least they would be the same weight class in that one. So I don't know. Probably, judging from his technique, I would say probably Ty Gibbs, because I just feel like Kyle Larson is not a fighter at all. I don't feel like he is much of into sports at all, other than racing. I don't think he has time for anything other than racing. Food, not a printer. Amazon has 3D printers dirt cheap, says Mark Langer. That's what I was wondering. I was like, Hy-Vee's got 3D printers? I was like, what's going on at Hy-Vee? They've got a greater selection than the last time I went into one. Classic NASCAR race today. Great stream, BB, says Quiet Cat. I'm glad you answered that, Mark Langer, because I was like, what? I was like, Hy-Vee has really expanded since like the last time I went up there 7 or 8 years ago to one. Honestly, if Chastain gets close to a guy leading the race, as Hamlin did with Larson Day, he's going to make sure he wins. Ross has been running up front all year. He's due. Yeah, I think Ross is probably going to break through as well. And like I said, I don't have a problem with what Hamlin did. It's just that random double standard he has from time to time. But I think this week on the podcast, I think he'll take it on the chin and be like, "Look, I did what I had to do to win." Yes, T Van says Mark Langren. Later, BB. See you Tuesday, says Wise Guy. See you later, Wise Guy. Jason Elliott. Well, I was waiting to hear with you had to say, but I can hear you're kind of on the side of Ross. So I already see what kind of person you are, says Jason Elliott. Okay, doke. It's all good. Everybody is allowed to have their opinion. Molten Rage. Also, I will say this. It was not Denny's fault with what happened with Larson. Larson got loose. Hamlin made a little contact, but it wasn't his fault. Was Larson getting loose and overcorrecting? Yeah, but even Hamlin in his post-race said that he didn't leave him any room there. Hamlin knew what he was doing. So at the end of the day, and like I said, I don't have a problem with the move. NASCAR put the Earnhardt Bodine feud to bed, says Donnie Love. Molten Rage, like Kyle Larson was consistently getting looser and looser. Eventually, the car was going to snap and hit the wall. I don't know what Larson was thinking, but overdriving the car every lap. He was trying to win is probably what he was thinking, would be my guess. E. Damon, BB, thanks again as always. Peace out. Dinner time in California. LOL. Peace out, E. Damon. Enjoy that West Coast time. Josh Strickland says, peace out. People, enjoy all your live stream and videos. You do a good job. Appreciate it, Josh Strickland. Team Penske fan. I think a big reason why Gragson got mad is because he used to winning Xfinity, and since he sadly sucks in Cup so far, it has upset him that no one likes finishing in the back. Yeah, I think that'll be short-lived, though. I think once they get the good equipment from Toyota next season, they'll probably be okay. Josh Strickland signing off with, as always, Denny sucks. So letting you know how he feels about Denny. Jamie Schweitzer, face screen, smiling. Thanks for another great show. As always, great race and peace. Curry Kebabs tomorrow, says Mark Langren, and see you later. Anyways, peace out. Just want to have my takes on Denny and Ross thing. They also look like they buried the hatchet when Ross went over to congratulate Denny. So yay, says Molten Rage. Thanks, BB. Been waiting for the live stream since the end of the race. Says Beast. Yep, I try to get them after every race when I can. And Mark Langer says, I do miss the Bodines. They made it interesting every week. I do agree with you there, Mark 63. They were definitely a good group. And that looks like the last one. So I will check you guys on the next one. Peace.